Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's 2020 webinar, Streamline Manufacturing by Connecting People, Systems, and Machinery. My name is Jörg Barnes, and I am 20 years with 2020 Technologies now. The majority of my career, I did project implementations, leading different kind of teams, and very involved in the woodworking industry on enhancing the solution which we are offering today, but also learning a lot of things throughout working with you guys in the field. So before we start, just want to go briefly through what are we facing on a daily basis in our industry. So on one side, we definitely have the manufacturing side where we need to communicate with each other. But then we also have the side where the manufacturer integrates with the point of sale. So here we see that on a daily basis, we get a lot of orders from our dealers, builders, and so on, anything which is out there on the point of sale side. And it makes it very difficult sometimes to get accurate orders into the system. Obviously, that leads to a long lead time. The other one is, once I get the orders in and there is something which I need to communicate back to my customers or to the point of sale, it's a challenge very often. We use emails, we use phones, and so on. But in reality, that can be automated and can be much quicker. The other one is when a manufacturer decides to update their product offering, their catalog, creates a new product line or anything else, or even specials, then it's very difficult and a cumbersome process to return those information back to the point of sale so that dealers, builders, architects can utilize this information. The other one, as I mentioned before, is on the manufacturing side. We all know that. On one side, in one system, I have my bill of material information. In another system, for an example, in Excel, I do all my scheduling. And then maybe I have a legacy system which helps me on the inventory side. So because I do have not connected systems really with each other, so for different kind of parts within the company, it's very difficult to get the full visibility. Think about a customer service person. Do they always just open up one system and can see where the job is or where individual components is? Typically not. They do a phone call to the supervisor in the plant, and they start running around and try to get this information. The other one which we see very often is handling specials. So that is typically, most companies handle this one outside of their standard offering. So that means an order comes in, the standard order runs through the system. The specials are treated like individual ones, which go through a little bit of paperwork, and then you have the skilled labor work in the shop who take care of this one. So that's pretty easy said, right, all of this one. But what is the reality here? On one side, we can go out there and it's software. We buy any piece of software which is available on the market. We customize the heck of this one and make it our own. Sure, that's definitely possible, but then no way of upgrading this one any further. Also, when we look at systems, when we implement them, for a lot of companies, it's a lot of money investing into software. And it's not that part. I mean, just buying the software is just one. Implementing it is another one. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of resources. And most companies shy away from this one and rather stay with what they have. So we at 2020 thought about all of this one and came up with something where we feel it's something very, very helpful for the woodworking and furniture industry. So over here you see basically the kind of end-to-end solution what 2020 is offering. One system, Everyone talks to each other, full visibility throughout the whole system. And if we start in this slide on the left-hand side, we can see that builders, architects, dealers, they can create orders within the system or larger projects. For an example, if I'm a multifamily business company. So those information seamlessly finds their way into the right larger gray box, which is our ERP system called 2020 Insight. In here, we can manage orders. We get the engineering information out of this one, all kind of costing information based on raw material and labor costs. The labor costs we get out of routings. We can schedule the shop floor. We can scan on the shop floor side, move material out of inventory, get suggestions, what we need to repurchase, receive that one, come to the assembly line, assemble it, load into the truck, scheduling the installation, send an invoice to our customer, and everything overlook these by using also mobile apps, which you can run either on your iOS system or Android. So let's go a little bit more into detail here and see how this really works step by step. So on one side, as I mentioned before, see on the left-hand side, dealers, builders, architects, whatever is available there on the point of sale for you, or even in your showroom, those guys can create orders. Obviously, once these orders come in, you can manually enter them. Most systems do that. But at 2020, we also have an integrated solution where we pick up this electronic file and import this one directly as an order in Insight. Then we do certain validation checks. With these validation checks, we can identify if the order coming from the dealer, for an example, is clean. If not, the system can find out where the differences are and communicate this automatically back to the dealer. So we can do this without human interaction at this point in time. So an order comes in, order is clean, let's say, it goes through the system, and then inside what we have in the background is a fully integrated workflow tool. So what that workflow tool does, it basically helps you configuring your business processes, and not the ones you have maybe today, but the ones you may want to have in the future. So we can configure your business processes to make the 2020 Insight solution your own without customizing it. And that's a very critical part here. We don't want to customize the heck out of the system. We rather configure it, because at 2020, we release every 3 months a new version with new enhancements, new functionalities, and we want that our customers can benefit from this one. So for an example, one would be an order comes in, everything is clean, then we automatically in the background tap into the accounting system, check the open ARs, compare it with the credit limit assigned to that customer, and then either release that job into production or for further processing, or we put this on hold. If it's put on hold, we send alerts to the finance department, somebody can check that, get back to the customer, everything solved, release it to the shop. The other one is specials are coming in, and we handle these specials in the same way. A notification gets sent to the engineering department. For an example, look at order 123, line number 5, do the modification, run that special with the same job through the system like everything else. So when we have the order in, everything is clean, everything is good. As I said, specials is really not a big problem for us. We create the final bill of material. We get all the drawings which we need for the shop. The system creates the routings to guide every single part to the shop, and we generate the final CNC code for all kinds of machines which are out there in the market. Now, when I come to the point releasing jobs into production, then we have listed here 2 out of the many possibilities which you really have in 2020 on how to schedule jobs into production. One of them is, for an example, based on a truck schedule, or call it shipment. So what we can do is, if I'm a customer on the East Coast and I have my customers on the West Coast, then what I can do, I can assign all of these jobs to that truck and release that truck into production. And based on the truck schedule, even the sequence on how I want to load the truck, it organizes everything what happens on the shop floor side. The other one is I can create production orders or so-called production batches, which allows me to group multiple jobs together, maybe for the panel saw or nested-based router optimization to have the best possible yield out of my raw material of the sheet good, and then we separate when I take it off the machine bed into carts or conveyor belts. Now, when I release something in the shop, the system will also automatically recognize, do I have enough inventory or not? If not, then the system, based on min-max, reorder point, or based on historical data, system will make a suggestion for the buyer to create a purchase order. The buyer can review that, send out the PO. We can also do EDI at this point in time here with your vendors, receive the material from the vendor, and we get the invoice from the vendor, and then we do a so-called three-way match where we compare the invoice with the PO and the receipt, and accumulated by general ledger, we pass this information to the AP side on the financial system. Now, looking further on my release of work orders into the shop. So when we do that, we see that every single part gets tracked within the shop. I mean, you can go down to the level of every single part, but you can also track an entire cart through the system or an entire job. Depends on how detailed you want to see that. Also, what you can do is, instead of scanning something complete, you can scan it as rework. So when you do that and you enter the reason code if something breaks, then the system knows exactly based on the reason code to which kind of work center I have to go back. And maybe I need additional raw material. I need maybe add labor to this one. And that, at the end of the day, will capture my actual cost. And when I know my actual cost, I know also what my real profit margin is. Furthermore, I know through rework process and scanning throughout the shop where I have issues within the shop. Maybe I have rework very often on one machine. Maybe I have to adjust the machine, or maybe I have to retrain the person working on that machine. So Insight also creates the optimization for the panel saws, for the nested-based routers, and then also we create the final CNC program. Interesting with the CNC program is if certain components, let's say a side panel, is assigned to a certain machine, and now that particular machine is in maintenance mode. So through the scheduling tool, you can drag and drop that work order just to another machine, and the system will automatically have the new CNC program available for that other machine. The barcode sticker stays exactly the same. You just scan this one at the other machine, and it calls exactly that program for that new machine. If I run through the shop, then at the end of the day, I come to the assembly line. We pack it. We assign the shipping label. We can also, if I have long parts or something else, loose parts, I can group multiple parts together in one package, and then I get a shipping label for that package. I scan all of these shipping labels when I move the material into the truck. The system automatically generates the shipping manifest, can also automatically issue the invoice, and if you want, attach a PDF file and email it directly to your customers. So accumulated by general ledger, again, we send this information then to the AR side of financial system that you can collect the money. The last step in the process here is really that in the company, you probably have someone scheduling the installers or the field service people who go out there, do measurements, do a check after it's been installed. All of these one can be handled through mobile apps within 2020. So you see a calendar, also your installation team. They can see what they need to work on, who is involved with this one. It's kind of a resource management tool as well. The nice one is you can take pictures, and everything you do gets stored right away and your facility in your SQL database. Also, the field service people or the installation teams, whoever has the rights, they can also create warranty orders. For an example, during the installation, the door breaks and it gets scratched or something else. Right on the mobile device, they can assign a new work order for this one, comes back into your database, and it tells the system that you have to do some rework on these individual parts. And it gets assigned to the original order so that I know which kind of follow-up jobs did I have in order to complete this entire order. And at the end of the day, I see what my profit margin is really. So if we look at this one overall, we can see this end-to-end solution here one more time. And in the bottom, you also see there are some arrows pointing from the manufacturing side to the point of sale side. That means if you have to do any kind of specials or new catalog updates, that can all be pushed out to the point of sale. So very easy flow, which will reduce your lead time and help you generating very accurate orders coming in. So what we did is basically we took the full 2020 Insight ERP solution and canned it down a little bit to offer a solution called Insight Foundation for the smaller to mid-size manufacturers. So what we want really is we want to offer you guys an affordable solution, not just from a software point of view, but also something which can quickly be implemented with not too much effort, so that you get a quick return of investment on the whole thing. So quick return of investment, the topic here. One thing is always with software implementations, you do the big bang implementation. With 2020, you can also scale it down and do this phase by phase. Means 2020 Insight and 2020 Insight Foundation is a modular system. That means if, for an example, order entry, accurate bill of material, releasing something into the shop is the most important one for you, then implement this one in phase one. If inventory management and purchasing is the most important one for you, then implement that module in the first phase. So trying to say here, you have the option really what's most important for you and implement this in phase one so that you get a very quick return of investment. The system will also help you because it's one system, there's no barriers between departments anymore, will definitely help you to increase your communication and give you a much better visibility overall. And think about, if you have less rework, less back and forth on the communication side and so on, that means you can reduce your lead time, just even if it's by a couple of days. That would lead to it that you might be able to do your annual revenue, not just in 12 months, maybe you do it in 10 months. So that means you have 2 more months to generate additional revenue. And that is really huge. Just by that, you have your return of investment already. With one system, obviously, you can react to the market. You can make changes in your product offering and release this directly to the market instead of going through different kind of systems and have redundancy of data. The reduction on the production cost is something which I touched on before, where I said we're tracking the rework side, and it will definitely help you identifying where rework happens, how often it happens, and not just by the end of the month when you get your financial statements. And the system allows you to be really more flexible. Now, I was mentioning about Insight Foundation. So it is really a kind of entry step into the ERP world for manufacturers. As I said, we want to have and offer a solution which is affordable from a software point of view, but also from an implementation point of view. But if your business grows, and gets bigger and bigger, the software solution we are offering is scalable, and as you grow, the system can grow with you. So I want to like to thank you for taking the time today, joining us at our webinar, and wish you a great day. Thank you and bye-bye.